We use the information as humans, what we have at the time that we have it, and we try to make the best decision that we can, and we're flawed. And that's the way that we are.
What do you say to other advisors who may be interested in Bitcoin, or maybe they're not? They're afraid of it. What do you usually advise to other advisors in your position who are playing with the idea of adding Bitcoin to what they offer?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to that what is money conversation that we have with clients. Advisors also need to understand what money is, and most advisors don't, and it's not their fault. And I think we're often given a bad rap because, oh, advisors, they can't seem to get their head around this Bitcoin thing. We're taught, Keynesian economics. Austrian economics is never brought up, right? People don't talk about even unit of account, right? We were talking about this earlier, right? Unit of account, when actually explained properly, would make people's minds explode about what's going on in the current environment. The example I like to use about unit of account is, imagine that you have a ruler and you're building a house, and that there was some sort of, Federal Reserve Board of Rulers, and they decided that rulers now had 13 inches instead of 12. And you're in the middle of building your house. You're like, what? I just ordered all this stuff for 12 inches. Now I have to go use this 13-inch ruler. And you're trying to figure out, you're converting and doing all this math, right? And then, 3 years later, they're like, oh, 13 was too much. We need to contract down to 10 to get back to that 12 number. It's like, it's preposterous, right? You think about it and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. Nobody would ever do anything like that. And thank God there's no, Federal Reserve Board of Rulers, because they probably would do something like that. But that is what they're doing. That's what they're doing with our money. They're like, oh, well, inflation should be 2 or 3%. So we'll just print a little bit more and nobody will notice, right? And
Manipulate it till we get to where we want it.
Yeah, and then we'll contract down and then we'll bring it back up. It's like, and then I think the other thing that people don't recognize about it is they're human like we are.
Yeah.
Right. They make mistakes. They go to a grocery store like we do, and they forget their list and they don't buy the right things. Right. And their kids are screaming and their grandkids are screaming. It's like they're living a normal life. They don't have some sort of clairvoyant knowledge. They're not God. They don't know what the right rate is supposed to be at any given period of time. And same thing with people in government. They don't know what the right policy is supposed to be at any given period of time, right? We use the information as humans, what we have at the time that we have it, and we try to make the best decision that we can, and we're flawed. And that's the way that we are. So to then try to make everything right and try to play God in a way where we're going to fix everything on behalf of people, it's just not going to work. And so the only way to remove that is to have something like Bitcoin, where the code completely removes human beings from the monetary policy.
That's right.
And then human beings can make decisions based on what the code says it's going to do.
Yeah.
That's what's so brilliant about it. It's not even necessarily what's in the code. I mean, well, yeah, there's a lot of really great things about the code. So I don't want anyone to misquote me on that and say that I'm some sort of, crazy person about the code. But it didn't matter if they picked 21 million or 35 million or 100 million Bitcoin, right?
Yep.
The fact is that it's a set supply. The fact is that, that every 10 minutes a new block comes out, that all of this stuff is known and that people can rely upon it and then make their own decisions, flawed or not, about how they're going to interact with their money based on that. And so what I would say to advisors is that they need to learn that to begin with. And once they learn that, then they say, oh, that's why this is a diversifier in clients' portfolios. And then from there, you can decide, okay, given my practice, how am I going to implement this such that clients get access to this in a way where I feel I'm being fairly compensated for the advice I'm giving them?
Mm-hmm.
They are properly holding the asset. They also understand what the asset is, and so forth, right? And just going down the list. But you can't make those decisions without actually knowing what Bitcoin is.
Hey, it's Amy. Click over here to subscribe. Click over here for more content, and we'll see you next time.